Hey there, fellow cruisers. Today we're diving into a topic that often causes confusion for first-time cruisers and even seasoned sailors: cruise gratuities. If you've ever looked at your final cruise bill and wondered, wait, what are all these charges? Then this video is for you. I'm going to break down exactly what cruise gratuities are, who receives them, whether they're truly mandatory, and how they vary between cruise lines. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what you're paying for and how to budget properly for your next cruise vacation. What are cruise gratuities? Let's start with the basics. Cruise gratuities, sometimes called service charges, are daily fees automatically added to your onboard account that compensate the crew members who make your vacation special. Unlike traditional tipping where you directly hand cash to someone who's helped you, cruise gratuities are pooled and distributed among various crew members who work behind the scenes. These daily charges typically range from $14 to $20 per person per day, depending on the cruise line and your cabin category. That means a family of 4 on a 7-day cruise could easily see $400 or more in automatic gratuities added to their final bill. These gratuities are essentially part of the cruise compensation package, as many crew members earn relatively low base wages and rely heavily on these shared tips. Who gets your gratuity money? Your daily gratuity charges are divided among several categories of crew members. Your stateroom attendant, who makes up your room twice daily and creates those adorable towel animals, typically receives the largest portion. Dining room staff, including your waiters, assistant waiters, and head waiters who serve you in the main dining room, receive another significant portion. What many cruisers don't realize is that behind-the-scenes staff also receive a share of these gratuities. This includes the hardworking crew members in the galley preparing your meals, the staff who clean public areas, and various support personnel who never interact directly with passengers but are essential to your cruise experience. It's important to understand that specialty restaurant staff, bartenders, spa personnel, and other service providers usually do not receive a portion of the automatic daily gratuity. This is why you'll see additional service charges added automatically to bar tabs, typically 18 to 20%, and specialty restaurant bills, often around 18%. How gratuities vary by cruise line. Each cruise line has its own gratuity policies and rates. Let's look at some examples from major cruise lines as of early 2025. Carnival Cruise Line charges $1,600 per person per day for standard staterooms and $1,800 for suites. These rates apply to all guests except those under 2 years old, who don't pay gratuity on Carnival. Royal Caribbean has recently updated their rates to $18.50 per person per day for standard accommodations and $2,100 for suite guests. These gratuities are distributed to various crew members including dining staff, bar and culinary services, stateroom attendants, and hotel services teams. Norwegian Cruise Line currently has some of the highest automatic gratuities in the mainstream market at $20 per day for most cabins and $25 for guests in the Haven and other suite accommodations. This is higher than most other major cruise lines, reflecting their service model. Disney Cruise Line recently increased their rates in January 2012 to $1,600 per person per day for standard accommodations and $27.25 per person per day for guests in concierge staterooms and suites. These gratuities are distributed to crew members including dining room servers, head servers, assistant servers, and stateroom hosts. Premium and luxury lines often have different approaches. Celebrity Cruises charges $1,800 per person per day for inside ocean view and veranda staterooms, $1,900 for concierge class and aqua class staterooms, and $2,300 for guests of the retreat. Many other luxury cruise lines like Silver Sea, Seabourn, Regent Seven Seas, Viking, and Azamara include gratuities in their all-inclusive pricing model, meaning you won't see separate gratuity charges on your final bill. Are cruise gratuities really mandatory? This is where things get interesting. Cruise lines typically present gratuities as automatic charges, but technically, they're discretionary on most cruise lines. This means you can adjust or remove them by visiting the guest services desk. However, there are several important things to consider before you decide to reduce or remove these charges. First, as I mentioned earlier, many crew members rely heavily on these shared gratuities as a significant portion of their income. When you remove these tips, you're directly impacting their livelihood. The crew members work incredibly hard, often 7 days a week for months at a time, while living away from their families. Second, on some premium and luxury lines, gratuities truly are mandatory and built into the fare structure. You won't see them as separate line items, and they cannot be removed. Third, some cruise lines have begun implementing non-discretionary service charges instead of gratuities, making it clear that these fees are considered part of your cruise fare and cannot be adjusted. If you receive truly poor service during your cruise, most cruise lines will still allow you to adjust gratuities on a case-by-case basis, but they strongly encourage you to address service issues during your cruise rather than simply removing tips at the end. Alternatives to automatic gratuities. If you prefer a more personal approach to tipping, you generally have two options. First, you can have the automatic gratuities removed from your account and instead tip crew members directly with cash. If you choose this route, the standard recommendation is to provide your stateroom attendant with $5 to $7 per person per day, your head waiter with $3 to $5 per person per day, and your assistant waiter with $2 to $4 per person per day. The second option, which many experienced cruisers prefer, is to keep the automatic gratuities in place and then provide additional cash tips to crew members who provide exceptional service. This ensures that behind-the-scenes staff still receive their share while allowing you to reward outstanding service. Additional service charges beyond daily gratuities. When budgeting for your cruise, it's important to understand that the daily gratuity charges aren't the only service charges you'll encounter. Most cruise lines add automatic gratuities to various onboard purchases. Bar purchases and beverage packages typically include an automatic gratuity of 18 to 20% on top of the listed price. This means your $14 cocktail will actually cost closer to $17 after the service charge is added. Royal Caribbean, for example, adds an 18% gratuity to all beverage purchases, while other lines may charge 20%. Royal Caribbean also applies this 18% gratuity to pre-cruise and onboard beverage packages, specialty dining, room service, and mini-bar purchases. Specialty dining also commonly includes an automatic 18 to 20% gratuity. Even if you've paid for a specialty dining package in advance, expect this additional charge to be added at the restaurant. Spa and salon services typically incur an additional 18 to 20% gratuity charge. Royal Caribbean, for instance, adds a 20% gratuity to all pre-cruise and onboard spa and salon purchases. Understanding these additional service charges helps you budget more accurately for your total cruise expenses. A couple might budget $200, $300 for their automatic daily gratuities on a 7-day cruise, but could easily spend another $100, $200 on additional service charges if they purchase drinks, specialty dining, and spa services. Conclusion. Understanding cruise gratuities helps you budget properly and appreciate the service model that makes cruising possible. These daily charges help support the hard-working international crew who make your vacation special. When booking your next cruise, remember to factor these costs into your budget from the start. While the advertised cruise fare might seem like an incredible deal, the final price, including gratuities, port fees, taxes, and onboard expenses, gives you the true picture of what your vacation will cost. Have you had any surprising experiences with cruise gratuities? Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts on the cruise tipping system. And if you found this explanation helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more cruise tips and advice. Happy cruising, and I'll see you on the high seas.